Hi, welcome to the video. I'm going to show you how to solve Einstein's famous fish puzzle, where he makes the claim that 98% of humans will not be able to solve it. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm going to show you how to solve it. So, to begin, we're going to change the order of the facts that are presented. We're going to change them in the way that I have them sorted now. The original order is there with the numbers, and the reason we're going to do this is we can go straight from top to bottom and make it really simple. You don't have to keep track of as many facts in your head. And the second thing we're going to do to make this really easy is we're going to make a grid to show each of the 5 houses and then each of the attributes with that house of the owner. So the nation, the color, the type of smoke, drink, and the pet that they own. So if you like that and you're having fun with this still, I'm going to show you an alternative way to solve it, where we group each fact by itself instead of grouping each house type. It's much harder, takes much longer, but it's more like a Sudoku puzzle, so you would do it for fun. But I'll show you more of that after we solve it the easy way. Alright, so what we're going to do is start filling in facts. The first fact: the person that lives in the middle house drinks milk. So house 3 is the middle house and they drink milk. The Norwegian lives in the first house. That's an easy one. Fill in Norwegian. The Norwegian lives next to a blue house. So the blue house has to be slot 2 because there is no slot 0 and it has to live next to the Norwegian, so they're in slot 2. The green house is to the left of the white house. So this means green cannot be in slot 1 because slot 2 is blue and has to be to the left of green. Of white. Slot 2 cannot be green because it's blue already, and slot 5 cannot be green because there's no slot 6, so white house has to be to the right. So that means it's either slot 3 or 4, and we're going to make a note of that and go on to the next. And this says the owner of the greenhouse drinks coffee, so it can't be slot 3 because they drink milk, so it is slot 4. And now we can fill in 2 more facts. The greenhouse is to the left of the White House, so that means the White House is in slot 5, and the coffee goes with slot 4 in the greenhouse. And the next point, the British man lives in the red house. So all of the other colors were filled in except for slot 1 and slot 3. Slot 1 is already Norwegian, so it has to be slot 3. And then we can also fill in British for slot 3. Okay, moving right along. The owner of the yellow house smokes Dunhills. So all of the other colors were already filled in except for slot 1, yellow. We fill in yellow and we fill in Dunhill. The person that has the horse lives next to the one that smokes Dunhill. So same point as we made earlier. If they're next to the house 1, it has to be house 2. Fill in horse for house 2. The person that smokes Blue Master drinks beer. So slot 1 cannot be because they smoke Dunhills. That leaves slot 2 and 5 because they have their drinks, their beverages still open. So we're going to make a note of that and leave it for now. And then the Danish man drinks tea. So from that point we can see it cannot be slot 1 or 3 because the nation's already filled in. Slot 4 already drinks coffee, so that leaves a possibility of slot 2 or slot 5. That also means that slot 2 and slot 5 can only be beer or tea because of the way the facts were stated. So between 2 and 5 is either beer or tea. And the person that smokes blends has a neighbor that drinks water, so we know 2 and 5 are either beer or tea, one way or the other, and 3 and 4 are milk and coffee. That leaves only slot 1 that can be water. And that also means that the blends has a neighbor of water, so we can fill that in slot 2. Alright, you with me so far, right? Good, I thought so. So from there we're going to go up to question 12 again. The one that smokes Blue Master drinks beer. And now we know that it cannot be slot 2 with the beer because they smoke blends. So we're going to fill in slot 5 with Blue Master and beer. And we go back to the point that the Danish man drinks tea, so the only remaining drink left is slot 2, which will be tea. and we can fill in Danish as well. So now we have all the facts about house 2. They're Danish, the house is blue, they smoke blends, they drink tea, and they have a horse. Now we're going back down to point 13. The German smokes princes. So we can fill in German as slot 4 because slot 5 smokes Blue Master. So between 4 and 5 are the only two nations that are open. 4 is German, and we can fill in the prince. And that leaves slot 5 is the only remaining nationality open. So we fill in Swedish. And from there we're going to say the person that smokes Pall Mall has a bird. The only remaining cigarette type is Pall Mall in house 3, so we'll fill that in as well as the bird. Swedish man has a dog for a pet. We already know that Swedish is in house 5, so we'll fill in dog. And the person that smokes blends lives next to the one that has a cat. So we know blends are in slot 2, and the only two pet positions are 1 and 4. The only one close to blends is slot 1, so that has to be cat. Cat could go in 1 or 3 based on this point, and 3 is already taken. So we fill in cat, and that means, of course, that house 4 is fish, and that's how you solve it. So now I'll show you the alternate way of solving it. It's much more complex. It's not as straightforward. It's kind of fun if you like Sudoku. So let's begin. What we're going to do here is treat each fact as an independent fact, and as we find out more information about those facts by cross-referencing against other facts, we can make each one more and more detailed, contain more and more information. So to begin, just for example, the person that lives in the middle house drinks the milk. I remove on fact 1 the possibility of it being house 1, 2, 4, or 5 because it's house 3, and I remove all the beverages except for milk. And for example, point 2, the Norwegian lives in the first house. I did the same thing. All the red that you see there has been removed as a possibility. I'm going to go through and do this for all of the initial facts that are given. Once that's all filled in, we can establish the following points that I have typed out there. Basically, this will allow me to eliminate conflicting data. So I can remove house 3 from facts 5, 7, 12, 13, 15. I can remove milk from fact 2. And the big one here is I can combine fact 7 and fact 5 because they're both dealing with the greenhouse. So we know that if the only possibility of one of these facts is the greenhouse, then all of the other points have to match. So going on from there, I can show you, I'll go kind of slow so you can read these to make sure you get the idea of what I'm doing. And then you should probably stop and try it on your own if you want. I've typed out most of the points for the first little while. You can pause these if you want to read them. And then I stop typing in the description because I think you'll get the idea. These yellow ones mean that there's one fact that we know of, and then within that fact, for example here, Norwegian in house 1 cannot be in the White House because the White House has to be either slot 3 or 5. So if you see fact 6 there, that only 3 and 5 are allowed. That means if you have a White House as an option and fact 3 or 5 are not available anymore, it can't be the White House. You can eliminate the White House. You can't eliminate the 2 facts because it's a one-way correlation. So you can only eliminate the solid fact about the White House, like you see in fact 2 there. And one more example here of that. The Norwegian must be in the yellow or green house, so the Blue Master smoking beer drinker cannot be Norwegian because yellow and green are not possibilities for fact 12. Alright, I'm going to skip through a few more and pause it if you want to follow along. Once you start getting the single facts that are left, like you know that this fact is about the British guy or the Red House, you can really start combining facts together to simplify this puzzle. And all these blank fact numbers here are the ones that I've already combined and deleted one of the duplicates. And we keep going, and we're able to solve it. So I think this took close to, I think it was 59 steps to solve it this way, and it was 20 to solve it the other way. So it's definitely not as simple, but it's another way to do it. Maybe if this is some kind of homework assignment you have, you can impress your teacher by showing there's another way to solve it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Check out my other videos about Excel if you want to learn about Excel, and maybe we can have some kind of discussion about this puzzle. Alright, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.